What's this? What's this? A pumpkin king so blue. What's this? He finds a world so new. He's tired of the scares, the frights. He wants to bring some joy and light. What's this? What's this? What's this? His plans all go astray. What's this? Halloween Town he should stay. What's this? A tale of wonderment and bliss we'll see in the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Welcome to Movie Friends. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Seth.
And today we're talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas from 1993. Directed by Henry Selick, story by Tim Burton, screenplay by Carolyn Thompson, cinematography by Pete Kozaczek, composed by Danny Elfman, edited by Stan Webb, art direction by Dean Taylor. Starring Danny Elfman, Chris Sarandon, Catherine O'Hara, William Hickey, and Glenn Shaddix.
Glenn Shaddix.
Shaddix! Thank you. Do you know I even wrote it phonetically in my notes?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, don't say, don't say, don't say. And I love him too.
Yeah, of course.
It's amazing what the brain and the tongue and they don't connect.
This is a regular old Beetlejuice
Right?
reunion here.
I know. What's going on?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Just posted our episode for Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
going
exciting.
out tomorrow on Patreon.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
That was my dad's favorite.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you?
Not much. We're getting a lot of rain here today.
Getting a lot of rain here, too.
Yeah, so I'm glad we have those French drains installed in my basement.
Oh, yes. Is the basement saga over?
No, Seth,
Oh.
no. You'll know when I'm back in the basement
Got it.
office.
But I mean, is the wetness done?
Yeah, I think for
Okay.
now the wetness is done.
Got
We
it.
are dry.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Did we get any emails?
We did.
Who Owl Provide?
What did we call him? Danny the Owl?
I think Owl.
Oh, yeah, Al. Al, the email owl.
Yeah. Who is it from?
So we got an email. Subject line is planes, trains, and automobiles. It says, I need a pickles giving in my life. John Candy is one of my favorite memories of my childhood. Oh my goodness. The mess around is peak comedy. Crazy that John Hughes has two of my top 5 favorite holiday movies.
Wow. Home Alone?
I'm gonna assume Home Alone, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be Home Alone too. But John Hughes didn't do those. Chris Columbus did. So I'm not sure what he's talking about.
I thought he was talking about John Candy.
Oh, well, it could be both, actually, because John Hughes and John Candy were involved with both.
Right. That's what I took it as.
No, he wrote John Hughes.
Oh, okay.
All right. P.S. Clapping on a plane is cringe.
Mm.
I disagree. P.S.S. I think I'm more Neil than Del. Okay.
Okay.
P.S.S. S. I didn't think it was possible that the British accent could get worse. And yeah, last week's was pretty bad. P.S.S.S.S.S. Team Hand Pie and P with a bunch of S's. 5-star film. And that email was from Ben. And then Ben sent a follow-up email.
Whoa, he's on fire.
Food fixation is the subject. Shack gummies are really good, and I like to snack on salt and vinegar chips. I've been stuck on egg salad and tuna salad.
For some reason, I'm picturing all those foods entering the mouth at once.
Oh, no.
I mean, we don't know, though. He could totally be doing that.
I would definitely put salt and vinegar chips on an egg salad sandwich.
Yes, I could even use
absolutely.
it to dip in said salads.
Mm-hmm.
When you read that, I heard it as like the Shack gummies were being chased by the chips. And I was like, okay.
That would be a lot. That'd be a lot all at once. But, I'll try it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to be like Ben, send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the movies that we're covering or what you're snacking on. I have a request. You're always putting out requests.
I am. I'm always demanding.
Emojis. And here's my request. It's the holiday season.
It's the holiday season.
And shoop-be-doop and dickory-dock. or whatever they say.
Seth has some requests for you.
What is your December, Christmas, holiday, whatever snack that you look forward to? That for some reason you're like, I only have this around December. And I'll throw mine out there.
You're going to give away the milk for free?
Chocolate crinkle cookies.
No, don't share it.
Why not?
Because we want people, they need an incentive to email us.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you guys email, Michelle will tell you her December treat.
You know you want to hear it. All right. Well, before we get into our discussion on Nightmare Before Christmas, Seth and I are going to try and guess each other's ratings.
Mhm.
And for the month of December, we are betting ham pies.
Correct. Which is a circle of dough with some fruit filling, folded over, kind of like a turnover, but a little different.
Right. And then we will reveal each other what we think the other person's rating at the end of the episode. Okay.
And as of now, the score is I owe Michelle 1 and she owes me none.
That's right.
So I feel like I have a little bit of a,
Yeah,
pep in my step
you should.
guessing on this one. But the movie film aspect of the rating really throws a big variable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's still a bit of a stab in the dark. So here I go stabbing.
I have stabbed, not confidently, but I am
Okay.
locked in.
All right, I am also locked in, and I almost just turned around my score guess to show you.
Oh, don't worry. I probably couldn't read it anyway. I'm so blind.
That's how out of sorts I am right now.
Last week, you mentioned at the end of our episode on Die Hard that doing this movie is a big deal.
It's a big one.
Like, that's what you said. You literally said it's a big one. And it is a big one, right? For the artistry and the story and the score. But I want to know what it means to you and when it entered the Sethiverse.
Oof, that's a good question. I'm not sure that I can remember a time without Nightmare Before Christmas.
So you're saying you saw this in 93?
I didn't see this in theaters.
Because you would have been, what, 5?
Yeah. But we had this on VHS.
Ah.
And we watched it.
Like whole family?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This was great.
Yeah. Did it become like a part of your persona as you got older?
There's like a 50-50 there with it because I love it and I still love it. But as I'm sure that you are aware, there became this huge like commercialization of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
To where, you went to Hot Topic and at first it was like, here's a t-shirt. And then it became like, here's a t-shirt and a backpack and pants and dolls and just everything. And everything was Nightmare Before Christmas. And as a young person, as a teen, I was like too cool for that stuff. I was like a hardcore punk, And so the commercial stuff, I was like, that's kind of lame. And so I feel like I kind of had to not pretend, but I feel like I just kind of put Nightmare Before Christmas to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I mean, I didn't own this on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
I probably saw it on TV, maybe the Disney Channel at some point. And then I got the DVD probably when I was mid-teens. But like you, well, maybe not like you, I loved it and loved the artistry of it and its stop motion animation, which I was so drawn to. But I wasn't drawn to the merchandise. And so...
Correct, yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's like me, yeah.
Yes, right. But I wasn't against it. I just thought nothing of it. And like, I really love this movie. So it's strange to me that I don't own anything Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, I don't even have an ornament. Like, I have nothing. No Jack, no Sally, no Mayor, no Oogie Boogie, nothing.
Do you think, and I would hope that you and I would be old enough and mature enough now, but do you think that it was kind of like, I don't want to be associated with the Jack and Sally people?
And I would admit this, and I'm trying to think back to the group of people I hung out with when this would become like my persona, because we definitely hung out at the mall on Friday nights and we were in Hot Topic. But even my friend group wasn't into Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all have seen it and we're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a great movie. But we didn't become obsessed with it. And listen, if you became obsessed with it and you have all the memorabilia, like that's great. I don't want to insult anybody,
No, like I
like
said,
at all,
these
right?
are the thoughts of a young person,
Right.
and a young angry person who's like, I'm too cool for that.
Yeah, I didn't have that. It
Yeah.
just never.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe subconsciously, but like I was like my wardrobe was Paul Frank,
Mm-hmm.
and I was seeking out like I'm a vegetarian patches and
Sure. Sure.
shoelaces and Homer Simpson. Like that
Yeah.
was my
Yeah.
my wardrobe.
Yeah. My wardrobe was a ripped t-shirt that I cut the sleeves off of, and
Yeah. So I don't know, since you've been a fan of this for so long and I've been a fan of this for so long, but like honestly, I've never really done deep research on it.
oh, okay, listen. Before we move on, I just want to be super, super, super clear. If you were a Jack and Sally kid, if you were, Nightmare Before Christmas, Messenger Bag, and all that stuff, that's great. And I'm so glad that like you did that. And I want to say, like, me and as an adult, I feel like I'm ready to like embrace loving this movie. And like maybe I'll buy a Nightmare Before Christmas shirt. I don't know.
Okay, I'm really glad that you interjected with that because I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Like
Like
I
I
need to have a Jack figurine of some
mm-hmm.
sorts that's out all year round. He can
Yeah.
hang out on my shelf. I need some sort of memorabilia now because I feel like I've been reignited, and
Mm-hmm.
especially with doing research for this episode. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad, and we should mention this was patron voted in. So the
Absolutely.
patrons chose this movie. They were
Yep.
picking all the movies this month. And we were both excited because we love this movie, but
Yeah.
I never really did like deep research, and it's been a joy. It has been a joy.
I'm just gonna tell you right now. I did not know. So here's the voice that I knew. I knew that the professor is the drunk guy in the bar at the end of The Producers.
You mean Dr. Finkelstein?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
the only voice that I recognized and knew off the top of my head.
Okay.
So now I'm watching the movie and I'm like, okay. So I go and I pull up the cast list and I'm like, Christopher Sarandon. Oh my God. Jack is Humperdinck?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh my God. Sally is Catherine O'Hara? Never knew.
Yeah.
Never knew. And the only other one that I knew was Paul Rubens as Locke. I did know that.
Okay, because that was going to be my
Mhm.
my follow up question to that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then once you find out that it's Catherine O'Hara, it's all I hear. I'm like, oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, of course it's Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, of course it is. Never knew.
Never knew.
Mm-mm.
I also didn't
Which,
know.
if you guys are listening out there and you knew that, we're big dummies.
I'm so glad we didn't text about this beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay. I also had no idea that the story of Nightmare Before Christmas started out as a poem that Tim
Mm.
Burton wrote years and years and years before this movie got made. And he was inspired by Rudolph and the Grinch and Dr. Seuss. And he thought that maybe this could become a short film, which I still think
Yeah.
it could have worked as a short film. I'm
Sure.
glad we got a feature, but.
Yeah.
And again, I advise you, if you haven't done any research, there is a documentary. It's like 25 minutes. You can watch it on YouTube. It's like the making of Nightmare
Mhm.
Before Christmas. Did you watch this?
No, not yet.
It's like on set. It's great. And then there's that Netflix docu-series, how movies are made, or
Movies that made us?
there you go.
Yeah.
I like the other doc better,
Okay.
but and you could do, there's all sorts of reading, and I was on a bunch of Reddit. I was like, I really have
Mhm.
been in the NBC verse for
Yeah.
days. For days.
Nice. Very nice.
I am like obsessed with it. But I also loved learning that in the 80s, Burton was working for Disney. And then that's where he became friends with Henry Selick.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So you knew that. I
And
did
he
not. I did
yeah,
not know
hated
that.
it. Some of the stuff I did know, like I know that Elfman voices the singing voice of Jack, and that
Yes.
as he's composing, he's like, okay, we need to find the voice. I'll be like a placeholder kind of a thing. And then it comes down to it, and it's like, oh, actually, Danny Elfman, you're going to be the guy.
Well, Danny, when he's writing these songs, which the songs were written before the script because they
Mhm.
had script issues, Danny poured his heart and soul into these lyrics and was like, I'm Jack. I
Mhm.
have to voice him. And so he does voice him, but then they're like, oh, yes, he can sing, but like his acting is not great. So
Right.
we need to get Sarandon in here
We
for
need
that.
a ringer.
Yeah. And then Danny's girlfriend ended up becoming the writer for the script.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that.
It's like Burton just enlisted his trusted circle
Yeah. Mhm.
because I think also, which I knew this, but I don't think a lot of people do. If you haven't done research, I think most think that Burton directed this.
Which is a great tragedy.
Yeah. Well, it says Tim Burton's The
Mhm.
Nightmare Before Christmas,
Yes.
but
Yes.
he was barely on set because he was working on Batman Returns.
Yep. And just recently, I would say within the last month, a big online movie publication,
Mhm.
listed like, oh, the film's directed by Tim Burton, and they included this.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
it's unfortunately just not as common of knowledge as it should be. And I wish that it was, because if you look at Henry Selick, he's got Nightmare Before Christmas,
Mhm.
James and the Giant Peach, which I have rewatched recently
Oh,
because I
you
had
have?
kids. I have, yeah, and I think especially like as a kids movie,
Yeah.
it holds up. Like Coraline,
I've never seen that.
that is one that's kind of another really big movie for a lot of people, and I would love to talk about just because I love stop motion animation.
And The Corpse Bride, I've never seen.
Yeah, now that one is Tim Burton.
Okay, but
Yep, yep,
is it stop motion? That's what made me think of it.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so
And before we keep going, we should mention again that we did do an interview with Harry Walton, one of the animators on Nightmare Before Christmas. If you go to our feed and just
mhm.
search Movie Friends Harry Walton, you'll find the episode. It was a great conversation. He was blowing our minds. He did a lot of stuff other than Nightmare Before Christmas, but just hearing him talk about it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, he spoke about how the sets were in San Francisco and
Hmm.
they were worried about earthquakes because if
Yep,
one thing moves, then they have to reshoot everything.
yep,
The
yep,
amount of patience it takes to do stop motion animation. It kind of
yep.
actually blows my mind.
It's movie magic. Like
It is
when
movie
we think about
magic.
what film is, right, where it's still photographs
Yeah.
shown to us at a certain speed and it creates the illusion of motion. Someone is like, okay, but what if everything within that photograph was also moved frame by frame? So it's like
Right.
it's taking that process and just timesing it by 1,000.
Yeah.
Where a camera, me as an actor, I can move around and the camera does all of the hard work. This is like, what if we did the hard work too? It's amazing.
It's amazing, and especially that doc that I was talking about. I
Hmm.
definitely please go watch it. Your mind will explode. It's hard for me to like wrap my head around like 24 frames per second.
Hmm.
1 minute of film took a week to shoot.
Crazy.
Over 200 puppets, 8 film crews, 200 sets, 19 sound stages.
Oh my
They
God.
had like 400 heads for Jack
Yeah,
because
yeah.
each vowel of his mouth, I
Hmm.
was like, it's like I can't comprehend it. I
Hmm.
can't comprehend it.
And like you mentioned, okay, could this be a short? Yes. And I think if the movie has any like major drawbacks, I don't want to say that the movie like loses steam necessarily, but it's not the most, it doesn't feel like that there's like a novel behind this. You know what I mean? Like in the story department.
Yeah.
But visually, I'm just so glad that they did stretch it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The world building.
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I want to talk about our characters here.
Okay.
First up, we got Jack
Skellington,
Skellington. Do
not
you like?
not skeleton.
No,
No,
Skellington. That's how.
Skellington.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Jack?
I had an epiphany about Jack
Are you Jack?
I'm not Jack. I am not Jack, but I can be Jack-like. And I think that a
Yes.
lot of us can be Jack-like. When I was a kid, I was just like, oh, Jack is sad. You know, Jack wanders off and stumbles into this magical world. And I do think that that's what happens within the realm of the movie. But listening to the songs, I've been bumping the songs all week.
Me
As the
too.
kids say, by the way, bumping the
Oh,
songs.
is that the lingo?
I believe that's what they say. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've also been bumping
But
them.
I've been listening to the soundtrack, singing along, and it was listening to the songs that made me realize, like, oh, Jack is middle-aged ish. He's at the top of his game. He's found success, but it leaves him empty. He knows that he wants something, but he doesn't know exactly what he wants. Did I write down?
It's called Jack's Lament because it's okay. No, continue. I don't want to cut you off, but
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
also go ahead. Go ahead.
And he wanders off. And like I said, I do think that he actually does travel to, Christmas Town. But in a way, it's like when you let your mind wander and you kind of just find yourself in this other place. And because it's so different, you're like, oh, I could do this. I could make this my whole thing. And like, how many people go on vacation? Jean Marie and I, it doesn't matter where we go. If we go to Lancaster, PA, or New York City, or somewhere in Massachusetts or Maine, you're there and you're like, I could live here. What if we lived here? Do you want to live here? And you start just thinking and imagining. And so that absolutely blew me away this time. And then I rewatched it and it kind of went in with that thinking. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much more relatable than just as like a funny little story.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Are we linked or what? Because this is no joke. This is what I have in my notes
Mm-hmm.
about how I have become Jack. I get it. An existential dilemma.
Yep.
And particularly the song Jack's Lament.
Yep.
And I wrote down lyrics that I would love to discuss with you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, somewhere deep inside of these bones, an emptiness began to grow. There's something out there far from my home, a longing that I've never known.
Mm-hmm.
How I feel that so deeply.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And as like a teenager, I was like emo-esque. I was never really, I was on the outskirts because truly I've never really been an emo kid.
Yeah.
You know, this didn't relate to me. I was more like, oh my God, the stop motion, the artistry of this.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, this is what I feel on
Yeah.
the daily.
Yeah. And again, it's not like, woe is me,
No,
everything is wrong.
no.
It's like, these people are praising him. I have to say this. Jack coming out of the fountain with the people like waving their arms at him and the music when it hits like, grrr, and he's like ascending out magically. I was like, is this a top 10 greatest shot in all of film history?
Yes. Yes.
It's so good.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I know.
And he's coming out and it's just like, ah.
And then you're like, this is stop motion.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, this is stop motion. And the difficulties that they gave themselves so unnecessarily, a lot of dripping man, where it's like, oh my goodness, when bats are flying, pages are turning, it's like, wow, they are showing off, and they should, because it's great. Anyway,
right. No, but like the shots of it, a lot of stop motion. Well, I love all of it. Sometimes it's very stationary where you get like an overhead crane, of the town, and then it could be very stiff.
Yeah.
These characters are so fluid.
Yes.
And the way the camera moves throughout the scenes and the worlds, and you're just, again, head explosion.
I think because I think that the style of some of the characters helps their movements be more fluid, where if they were all just straight up like anatomically correct, here's a man and here we know how a man moves, but how does Jack Skellington move?
A spider.
And how does the mayor move? Well, the mayor can move however we want because we're creating that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Jack. I love in that line where he says, can you read it again?
Yeah, well, I should have just wrote the whole song because at the end it says like these dried tears, but this somewhere deep inside of these bones, which I love that we're using bones and not soul, because a
Right.
lot of times the living creature, right? I'm like, oh, I feel this in my soul, or this is an empty soul. It's like, no, he's bones.
Mm-hmm.
And emptiness began to grow. There's
That's the
Yeah.
key word to me.
Yeah.
Is again, it's not just like now. It's like he's been going through the motions, and everyone says this was the best Halloween ever, and he's like, yeah, just like last year was, and just like the year before that was. And I was like, oh, it's devastating, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very much like first world problems.
Yes.
And that is, I think, you were talking about like the existential pain and struggles that
the
we
dilemma.
feel, and yet you feel guilty for even feeling bad because you're like, well, I literally have nothing. What do I have to complain about?
Right.
You're the Pumpkin King.
Right.
Everybody wants to be you. All the ladies, oh my gosh, they are like, going after him. And I mean, he's a single guy.
Yeah, he's good looking.
Well,
Did you listen to? He is. I mean, there's so many reviews that are like Jack could get it.
I did not. I did not see that.
I was like, okay. Did you happen to listen to the whole soundtrack with the Patrick Stewart intro?
I
and
did,
outro?
and I did not like it.
Okay. And then the outro mentions how he goes back and he sees Jack there with 3 skeleton kids. And I'm like, or maybe it's just the skeletons hanging. You know how we had.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I don't need that. Nope. Don't need that.
I'm good.
Yeah. Another thing that I just want to mention about the opening.
Yeah.
And again, I was like, I might be the world's biggest idiot.
Yeah.
Never knew that was Santa narrating in the opening.
What?
Yes, where that's the voice of Santa, the actor who plays Santa later on.
Is it just the voice, or is it supposed to be Santa Claus telling a story?
Well, I definitely think that it's supposed to be Santa. Yeah. It's time you begun.
I never realized that either.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay. Growing up, I just always like, here's the one random old guy who talks for 5 seconds and then we never see him again, but okay.
I don't even think I even clocked it. I'm just like, I'm in it. Wow. Let's stay on the music.
Sure.
Is Jack's Lament your favorite song?
No.
What is your favorite song?
Far from it. Although I will say that part of the song,
when you walk, it's so beautiful.
It only repeats a few times throughout the film.
Yeah.
But it's so good that I wish it repeated more. I wish that it was longer. I wish that they, even just within like that moment, that they just did it again. I'm like, oh, this is, so I think that little theme, musical theme, I think that's the best theme in the movie. But I'm a big What's This fan.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so glad you said that, because I wrote down my favorite part of that song is, oh, look, what's this? They're hanging mistletoe. They kiss. Why, that looks so unique. Inspired. And the way he said, I'm like, it's like he's having an inspirgasm, discovering something, and so excited to talk about it. And I love it so much. I love it
so much. It's
so
good. Yeah.
It's
that
so good.
I will also throw into the mix Kidnap the Santa Claus. I think is really underrated.
I'm happy you like that song.
Oh, you don't like it?
I love that it's Paul and Catherine and Danny, but the tone, pitch, whatever musical term we can attach to it, because I am not knowledgeable. Like,
it's shrill.
It's shrill. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's probably the beauty of it, but
it's totally, oh my gosh. When they just, it's, there's just so much energy behind it. And I think it's similar to What's This, where he's like sneaking and lurking, but he's just yelling.
Yeah.
How queer. Inspired. Yeah. It's like, okay, Jack. Maybe don't be a yelling skeleton outside of these children's
in
windows.
Christmas Town. Probably
Mm-hmm.
not the best. And I do love This Is Halloween too, which reminds me, the beginning reminds me of A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Sure, yeah.
The way we're establishing the story in the town.
Yeah. This Is Halloween is really, really great. Wonderful way to open. And I was so taken with the animation this time around, how they're willing to put characters kind of just on a black background a lot throughout it. Like the individual characters are, because it's not tied to like a physical location. It's like, okay, are they out in the real world doing all these things?
Right.
You know, so it's like you're kind of anywhere and everywhere. It's not just like they're flying around Halloween Town being weird and creepy. I really liked that this time around, because it's an artistic choice that doesn't repeat throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like when Ken sings "I'm Just Ken" in Barbie, he goes to another place, right? And so we know that it's fanciful. But in Nightmare Before Christmas, all of the numbers take place in a physical location, except for the first one. So I thought that was a good, like, super subconscious way of communicating, like, yeah, they might actually be out like monsters on Halloween night, like freaking people out.
Yeah. There's a part in that song that says, like, we're not mean. This is just our
Yeah.
job. And I was like, I
That's
like
our
that
job,
line.
but we're not mean.
Town of Halloween.
And I think
think
that,
that's great.
yeah, I wonder if that's a Disney note, you know, like
You
we
think?
can say all this crazy stuff. I did send you one thing. I sent you the lyric, "I am the Who when
And
you
who's
call
there?
who's there,"
Yeah.
which is really creepy.
It's also
That's like,
creepy. I'm the wind.
mm-hmm.
I'm the in your hair.
Mm-hmm. But then, you know, so they say all this crazy stuff, and then they're like, "But we're not mean. It's okay."
Well, I don't know. I've been thinking about that because I think it's to them all in good fun.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah.
when they're introduced to, to learn about Christmas and to implement it, and the mayor's like, yes, let's do it. Of
Mhm.
course.
Mhm.
They're excited, but they're like, we can't, how do we do this? Oh, we can implement out how we do Halloween into Christmas. And so this is just their version of joy.
Mhm. Not to bring up the producers again, but it reminds me of when they go to enlist the director,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "I'm tired of doing these showgirl numbers. 1, 2, kick turn, 2, 2, kick turn." And they're like, "Yeah, no, this won't be anything like that." And then as he gets into it, he's like, "And we can do this, and we can do this." And then he says like the same exact thing that he
Yeah.
just said. And it's basically like, okay, he doesn't want to do something new. He's just trying to put himself into. And that's very much what happens here. Like, they're putting smashed animals like an armadillo, roadkill,
Yeah,
into a
heads in
present.
boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Oh man, incredible to turn around and just be like holding a dead head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Sally, who didn't really have a story in the poem, but Caroline Thompson, she really is responsible for giving Sally her story. How do you feel about her?
I love Sally. I don't know if Sally is magical. Like, she gets the premonition of the Christmas tree and then it burns.
Yeah.
And that's never quite explained, you know?
I think we just have to accept it.
Yeah, yeah. Look, they're all werewolves and goblins and goobly guys, you know, it's fine. But she definitely, you know, Santa Claus later on says, I'm talking about these people like they're real.
They
Santa
are.
Claus
For this hour, they are real.
later on says she's the only one who makes any sense around here.
Yeah.
And she does seem to be on a different wavelength than everybody else. You know, all the ladies are fawning after Jack, and she is too. She's just doing it like in her own way.
Yeah, and she's being held captive, so she's got to figure out how to escape, which I love Dr. Finkelstein.
Really?
Obviously, this is a play off of Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh.
And we even have
your
our
whole
own
thing with mad scientists.
I got a thing.
Yeah.
And then we have our own Igor is in this too,
Yes.
which is fun.
Yeah.
I think I love just the choices we did with him where he can pull back
Oh, so good.
his skull and his head and just scratch his brain.
Scratch into his brain. Yeah.
Yeah. And his face. I was thinking about it, like it looks like a duck.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a Tamagotchi. One of
Very
the
much so. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The
You know what I
stages
mean?
of the Tamagotchi, there was
Yes.
like an ugly stage
Yes.
where you were like, what is this turning into?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
glad. I'm so glad you knew
How
what I
many
was talking about.
Tamagotchis did you have? Because I know some kids were getting. I had one that I think we shared between three of us.
Yeah, I had one, but I also had a Dinky Dino.
A dinky dino.
Yes, and I had a Pikachu, a virtual Pikachu.
Hold up, don't move on.
Oh, what's wrong with what's wrong?
What is a dinky dino?
It was just a virtual
Oh,
dino.
just a virtual pet. Okay.
Yeah, he was called a Dinky Dino. What I loved about him, or what I loved about the Dinky Dino, is you could put the AC on, so he didn't get too hot.
Wow. Okay.
And that was like my favorite thing. And I would go to camp and my mom would have to take care of my Tamagotchi and Dinky Dino.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
poor parents.
Still happens, by the way. My son went to summer camp and he was like, "You need to log in to my Scratch account and moderate the comments and make sure no one's." And I was like, "Kid, I can't
Nope.
even begin to tell you how much that is not going to happen." I think that I think that we, whatever. I think we did, but
Yeah, I'm sure he
yeah.
did. Yeah. What did you think about Dr. Finkelstein? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I love the voice. I mean,
Sure.
what a great, great character voice. He's kind of a dummy, just trusting Sally to keep making his food.
I wrote that down
Yeah.
as a question for you. Like, how many times are we going to keep trusting her to prepare the food?
Listen, a man who doesn't want to make his own food and wants a pretty female companion, I think is the dumbest person on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Despite being a smart guy, he's like, well, she makes my dinner and I'm kind of attracted to her. I'll just let all this slide. It will never happen again. Men
And
are
I
so
created
stupid.
her. She's
Yeah.
mine.
Oh, yeah. Men are very, very stupid. Yeah, so, Jack and Sally are in a similar situation of Jack is owned by the public eye, and he can't escape being the Pumpkin King, and Sally is owned by this mad scientist, and she can't escape, and so both of them find escape within each other, and yeah.
Do you think these two actually loved each other? I know Sally did.
It's so hard to say because they barely know each other, and so we're doing very much fairy tale Disney movie romance where how many words do they say to each other before they're, in the graveyard again singing at the end.
Yeah, like Jack realizes
Mm-hmm.
after Christmas goes.
I have a question for you about
Right,
like
yeah.
the cultural saturation of this film.
Yeah.
There's a song by Blink-182 called "I Miss You." Are you aware of it?
I am aware of it, but I have to think about the lyrics. It's been a minute.
Where are you?
No, I know, but like, line by line. But if you'd like to serenade, please.
Anyway, there's a line in there, and we can live like Jack and Sally if we want. And when that song came out, for me, that was my breaking point with this. I was like, I'm done.
Really?
We're going into a Blink-182 song. I'm done. But again, coming out on the other side, now I'm like, okay, I like that song now.
You were mad that Blink included
Yeah. Like, I thought that
Nightmare
was
Before Christmas?
Oh, I thought that was so corny.
Even though you always liked this movie, it was just
Yeah.
a way of it entering.
Yeah. It's look, it's the weird gatekeep thing that everybody does when you love something and you're immature. I was going to say when you're young, but people still do it when you're old.
Yeah.
You love it, and so no one can love it the way that you do. And when other people like it, you want to qualify, well, how long have you listened to this band? And, oh, I was there this time, and da-da-da. Instead of just being like, hey, I like that too. Instead of me being like, oh, cool, Blink-182 likes Nightmare Before Christmas. I was like, the bunch of posers, losers.
Were you not a fan of Blink-182?
Well, again, like as a young punk, I liked Blink-182's early stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then it just got more poppy and, what I would consider commercial. But again, these are all very stupid things to think.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I miss you.
I miss you.
Don't waste your time on me.
Yeah.
You're already the voice inside my head. I miss you. You don't know the song?
No, I said I know the song. I don't know line by line.
I'm just shocked that you're not like busting out into
Why? Do I come off of like the biggest Blink-182 fan?
No.
Okay.
It's just a song that people
Don't
enjoy.
waste your time on me, right?
Yeah, but
You're
you can't do it in
already
that
a
voice.
inside
No, that's a
my head.
normal person. It's don't waste your time on me. You're
I'm not trying to
already
emulate Blink-182 here. Yeah,
the
okay.
voice. In night, boy.
Beautiful.
Anyway,
Beautiful. Anyway, the mayor is Anne's favorite character.
he's insane.
Yeah, that's Anne's favorite.
I'm just an elected public official.
I got a good chuckle from him
Mm-hmm.
upon rewatching this.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that he only has two faces, like distraught
Yeah.
and happy. Like he doesn't have a face of like anger.
Yeah.
And I always thought when I was a kid, I didn't like register that. So it's like a politician can either only be like super, super happy or like everything's wrong.
I'm
Everything's
stressed.
terrible. Jack has been blown to bits.
The villains, if we want to call them villains,
Definitely. Yeah.
Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Lock, Shock, and Barrel. Love them. I think
You
they're
love
my
them.
favorite characters.
Really? The trio?
Outside of like Jack and Sally. Yeah. They rule. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Oogie Boogie.
Oogie Boogie. What a silly name.
Do you think he's a good villain? Do you count him as a villain?
I do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's jealous.
Tickling feet?
I know.
Come on. This guy's a madman.
But this is Halloween.
Okay,
town.
but look, a leg comes into your doorway and you're just the first thing you think to do is just
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. But when you think about it, like in this town,
Yeah.
Jack is the leader in a sense, right?
Yeah. He's a king.
He's the king. But their duty is all to scare. That's like the number one goal.
Mhm.
And Oogie Boogie, he wants to be number one. Like, why can't he be number one?
He's the boogeyman.
Right.
Yeah.
But also his job is to also instill fear.
I think that
We don't have to get serious about this. I'm just making conversation.
just as you said it though, like because the element of the Oogie Boogeyman that I've never like loved is the gambling stuff, like the casino.
I've never noticed that until this watch.
Because it just kind of like it's like, oh, this is his aesthetic for some reason. Where if I was like, hey, I'm all right, I'm gonna make the environment for the boogeyman now, it would be like caves and like monsters,
Yeah.
and, dripping stalactites or
Stalagmites.
stalagmites. Both of them would be dripping, quite frankly. Here they're like, no. He's a Las Vegas guy.
He's a gambling man.
I think that's what makes him a different kind of monster than Jack, is that he doesn't play fair. Like Jack and everybody else, it's a society, there's a town hall where I think the boogeyman is like kind of backhanded, other-handed.
Dude, you know me. I screw up words all the time. Use whatever you want.
Yeah, he's just, he's not fair, I think.
Did you know that Caroline pitched a different idea?
Oh, okay.
And I mean, everybody on the team kind of was behind this. Harry, too. Henry?
Mm-hmm.
Henry. It's Henry.
Well, Harry would have been behind it because Harry Walton was one of the animators.
Yeah, but that's not who I meant. But thank you for trying to save me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the alternate ending idea was that Boogie was Finkelstein inside.
Ooh.
And he would have been the one controlling. And then that obviously didn't go. Would have we liked to have seen that versus that he's just filled with bugs?
No, I love the bug thing.
I do too.
Yeah. I love, that it's like this mass of different bugs working together. Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they got to that leg part and they were like, wait a minute. He would recognize Sally's leg. And they're like, fill him with bugs.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they had to scrap the whole thing for that one.
Fill him with bugs.
Mm-hmm. And I love that about Sally too, is that she's able to come apart. Like when she just jumps and falls apart and then sews herself back up. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what? It sounds corny, like, but in motion, it looks so
Her
good.
physicality is off
Oh my
kilter.
God. Yeah.
It's so good. There's no right angles in Halloween Town.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like a note. It had to be black, orange, no right
Interesting.
angles.
Interesting. Wow. That's cool.
I love the world building that we get
Mm-hmm.
here and how they're just completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish we got to have seen Thanksgiving Land, St.
No,
Patrick
and
Land,
that's
Valentine's Land?
kind of like what you were saying about the end of like, and then there were children, or
Yeah.
I think that this works because it's a story of opposites,
Yes.
Halloween and Christmas. And I don't need to see Jack at Turkey Town, you know? You know,
Turkey Town.
like, and I think like a cheap, legacy sequel would be Jack, all of the holiday worlds are in disarray. We need to go set things right. And he's like, okay, boys. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think this works just as it is.
Mm-hmm. So on that, is this a Christmas movie or is this a Halloween movie?
I believe that this is a Christmas movie.
Interesting.
The reason why is because I think Jack learns a lesson more akin to Christmas time than Halloween time.
Huh.
Even though he learns to be himself and be the pumpkin king, it's a wonderful life ending, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to live again is
Right.
essentially what happens, right?
Right.
I want to live, I want to be the pumpkin king. Oh my God, this is great. Also, yes, we're in Halloween Town, but we're only on Halloween night for like one song, and the rest of the story is about Christmas. So I think just percentage wise and then story wise, this lends itself more to Christmas.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, it's both.
And yeah, great.
And I
Yeah,
choose
yeah.
not to choose. Just like what movie gives us Halloween music and Christmas music?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I will watch this at Halloween and I will watch this at Christmas because I get the joy of Halloween around Halloween time. And I'm like, oh my God, Christmas is coming so soon. And
Mm-hmm.
then watching it around Christmas, I'm like, oh my God, I love Halloween so much. And so it just works both ways for me.
Had we watched this in October, would you and Anthony been Jack and Sally?
I don't think so.
No?
No. No.
But he's so tall.
I know, but he doesn't have he'd have to do a mask, I guess. I was like
Well, he'd have
thinking
to
about
shave.
yeah, and that's an absolute no. We're shutting that down. It's not even an option on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
He could be the boogeyman.
He could. He could be the mayor. The mayor's short though.
Right. You'd have to be the mayor.
I wouldn't mind being the mayor. That
Yeah.
would be pretty fun. Like if you're in a conversation and we were like, you could just
Find a way to
switch your
spin your
facial
head.
expression.
Mhm.
That would be good.
You could do that by if you found some type of cardboard cone.
Yeah.
And then cut out windows and put in plastic sheeting and draw different faces on it. You could spin them so that it lines up with your face.
What an amazing idea.
I'm full of them. Actually, oh no, that was the last one, and I wasted it on that.
I am storing that.
Yeah. But Christmas, Halloween, it's great. And I think that's why I loved it so much as a kid, because they were like, let's make something so weird and it's for kids. And if you're a weirdo, you can be a weirdo on Christmas. I mean, think about it, like Christmas movies. And let's not count the last 15 years. What weirdo Christmas movie was there?
Yeah, and what's your definition of weird Christmas movie? Besides, this is
A kid turning around and holding up a dead head to his parents, and that being a punchline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was nothing like this prior, And so it was very special to me as someone who was like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last person, I mean, we could go through all of the characters if we want, but the representation of Santa Claus, Sandy Claus.
Yes.
I like his tiny feet.
His feet and his hands are so silly.
He's like an apple on toothpicks.
It's like the rest of him got big and
Yeah.
there wasn't enough left over for the ends of him.
Yeah.
So they're just like teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think? Did you like him?
He's a bit of a, I mean, he is, you know, going through something quite traumatic, but it's like, Santa, lighten up a little bit, man.
I know when we think of Santa, we think of like the over jolliness and
Mhm.
happiness of the season, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, this guy was kidnapped and he's brought to Halloween Town.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, you know, he's fine. He's funny. I'm not the biggest fan of his singing during the Oogie Boogie song.
Yeah.
Because that is so like the skeletons, wow, you know, and then Oogie Boogie himself, like, you know, the personality behind it. And then Santa's just kind of like, release me. He's just talk singing. It's like, I don't know about this.
Yeah. Probably my least favorite.
Character, like main
Yeah.
character?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Out of the roster.
Yeah. I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Who is the scariest resident of Halloween Town?
Oof. The scariest resident. I'm trying to think of all their little faces.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking about, and he's not the scariest, but I wanted to hug him. Where he's like, Christmas is ruined. I don't know what he is, but I like
There
him.
goes
It was
Christmas.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a little tear.
Mm-hmm.
He's so cute. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Goop Guy is just very unsettling to me. A man who is constantly melting.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and then I
Let me
would
see.
like to say these vampires are
Oh.
creepy.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
if we didn't hear them talk, they're creepy.
I liked the trio that plays music. I love them.
Oh, great. Oh,
They're
yeah.
great. Yeah, but I can't I'm trying to think of a
Thanks, Bone Daddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, I just love everyone. So
Mm-hmm.
I have some rose-colored glasses on.
We talked a lot about the, you know, different songs, but Christmas Town rules.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they're doing the elves, that they're like kind of like kids. The song obviously is great. Just everything looks so good. The snow looks so good. I love it, and I love Jack's line. He says the monsters are all missing and the nightmares can't be found, and in their place there seems to be good feeling all around. And again, not to beat a dead horse, but it's like, you know, all the problems in your life, and when you go somewhere else or when you fantasize about something, none of you don't put all those bad things in there.
Mm-hmm. He talks about the warmth he feels
Mm-hmm.
inside of him, like what is happening.
Yep.
Ugh.
And I've been going through a real Christmas journey the
Yes,
last
you
few weeks.
have.
Yes. Yep. In our Discord, we've been talking about some things about Christmas, and I've just been like, you know, why do I hate Christmas? Like, why? And like, what would me liking Christmas look like and feel like?
Are you afraid to shed that persona and enter a new being because we've associated you with the dislike of Christmas, almost like the
It's
dislike
possible.
of Shrek too.
Right. Well,
And I don't
not
mean
go that far.
Well, right, but it's like we create these personas for ourselves, and it's almost scary to shed it.
Well, I think for a lot of people, you develop a personality and then you never revisit it. You know, it's just, this is me.
Oh my gosh,
And
I'm
so,
revisiting mine every day
well,
because I'm so
yeah. Not the parts that I enjoy, though. And I enjoy being a Christmas hater.
Oh.
So anyway, but watching this number again, I was just like, man, I tweeted, actually. I said, I'm doing okay. I'm just crying thinking about Jack Skellington discovering the magic of Christmas for the first time.
Is that what inspired you to change your Twitter name and make it Christmassy? Because when I read that, I imagined like you singing like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
What is this warmth I'm feeling inside my bones?
Well, I was like, you know what? Let's try it on for a spin.
Oh.
What could happen?
What could happen?
Yeah. So I'm going to try to be jolly this year. My only other main thought about this movie is that this is exactly what it's like trying to combine two friend groups. When he's at the town hall and he's like, this is what Christmas is like. And they're like, oh, so it's kind of like this. And he's like, yeah, they're cool. It's good, and then everything comes together and you're like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that when you texted that to me.
Yeah. It's like, I'm one person with my D&D friends, and then I'm another person with my work friends. And oh no, they're going to come together.
Yeah. I still experience that as an adult.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's me re-examining and visiting my personality again.
Yeah.
So the budget for this originally was $18 million. At the box office, it made over $107 million.
Mm-hmm. And they've done re-releases.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rotten Tomatoes, 95.
Wow.
Letterboxd, 4.
Okay.
Metacritic, 82.
Okay.
And the production days was between 2 to 3 years. So,
Wow.
yeah. Long time. Let's go into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies and crappies.
ahead, Seth.
And crappies. It's time for happies.
All right. So my happy is, I think it's going to be Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I just love them so much. Like, I would consider getting a Lock, Shock, and Barrel tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Just their masks or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fan of them. And then my crappy, I would say like when the movie's like 70% done, I don't know. I just start to feel like a little antsy. Like, I'm like, where are we going? Like, what's and then we kind of resolve. Like, I do love Jack dropping off all the presents and people screaming, and then you see the monsters in the real world. All of the kids in the real world like are so funny, and I do like that part. But yeah, so I guess I would just say like pacing, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's such a short movie.
Yeah,
Or I don't even want to say it's such a short movie, but
it's almost 80 minutes. 76 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the first half there's like some bangers, and then it kind of I understand what you're expressing.
Usually musical syndrome.
Yeah.
Act 1 is like
Yeah. For me, this whole movie is a happy for me, honestly. But and I did text you this picture, but if I'm gonna single out like a single happy, when Jack gets back from Christmas Town and he's in his room and he has the fire going behind him.
Yeah.
And he has his little tree and he's wearing a nightgown and he has a nightcap and a blanket and he's reading books on Christmas. I can't express to you the feeling inside of me with this image. I truly.
Well, I mean, you love skeletons. We know this.
The cozy skeleton?
And to have a cozy skeleton is a rare thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think of it like that. It is a rare thing.
Yep.
I love this so much. And then my crappy, which it's not really a crappy because truly I don't want this. It's more of a wish. But I would like to know how everybody who worked on this film, the animators and Tim, like how would they world build the other holiday towns?
Interesting. Whoa.
Yeah. I don't want to see it because I know people have gone and they've said like, hey, can we do another one? I don't want anything else done. I know we have video games and we have books and all the things. Don't touch this, right? We don't need it, but I would like to know how they would picture it. What would these characters look like?
Right.
So, yeah. Did anybody reach out on Twitter?
Oh my goodness, did they?
Did they?
They did.
I'd love to hear from them.
Okay. About movies at Cinema of Screams.
For Christmas. I'm
It's
going to
our
do
friend
that.
Shauna from across the pond. We haven't heard
Hi.
from her in a while.
Hello.
She says, I gotta know. Do you believe that Jack and Sally are basically Ichabod and Katrina from Sleepy Hollow in another universe? Also, this movie is the perfect balance of spooky and festive cheer. It's overrated to some, but for people like me, it's essential. By the way, hey, hi, hello, heart emoji.
Cute.
I'm going to say no. I have heard this before, the comparisons between the two couples, but I'm going to say no.
I don't know who those people are, so
Oh, Sleepy Hollow.
yeah.
Yeah. Felicia at Cinnamoroni.
Cinnamoroni loves hot chocolate around this time of year.
And by the way, she's the one who nominated this movie. Just want to throw that out there.
Yes, thank you, Felicia.
She says, yes, I was in fact one of those 2000s emo kids whose entire personality was defined by this movie.
Love it.
Felicia, if you have any pictures of you with Nightmare Before Christmas love, please send it our way.
We love to see it.
Cosmo at Hey Cosmo
Hey, Cosmo Cheer.
says, I don't care how oversaturated this movie is in the culture because of Hot Topic. It banes every time. No one is badder than my girl Sally. Jack Skellington is the finest pumpkin king to ever not live. The Oogie Boogie song is one of the best songs in any musical ever. That's intense.
Wow.
Yeah. Britt Chavez at Britt Chavez
At Britt Chavez is slaying her way.
says, yay! My husband and I argue every year about this movie. I think it's a Halloween movie, and he thinks Christmas. Thoughts? I loved this movie growing up. Remember what a staple it was at Hot Topic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, did you know Zero's nose is a little jack-o'-lantern? Blew my mind. Haha.
So cute. I
I
love
know-
Zero.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, I noticed that this time around.
Sorry, Britt, that I agree with your husband.
I think, like I said, you don't have to choose.
Yeah, you don't have to choose.
You don't.
Cosmo's back. She gave a follow-up. She says, and if you want to talk about the hot topification of this movie, the cover album they released in 2008 called Nightmare Revisited is a great example. It's very of its time, but I still play it. LOL.
Oh.
And I remember when that came out, and I did listen to it. I haven't listened to it in a while.
Yeah, I didn't know that happened.
A ton of Brixmas, Christmas tree emoji,
Yes.
says, I didn't see this until well into my 40s, so no nostalgia. It is one of the most visually arresting things ever put on film. Unfortunately, the story, or what there is of it, is underdeveloped, scattered, and frankly dumb. Feels like there are about 15 minutes missing. And I won't go as far as that, but I will say I think that there's a little more story here.
What would you have liked to have seen more of Jack and Sally?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need them. We need them.
Yeah. Okay.
Benjamin Vargas at Ben Sower
Ben Sower loves Christmas lights.
says a movie that oscillates between really good and very overrated. Also, I have a Jack tattoo.
Oh,
So he's not just a hater.
hey Ben, send us a picture of your tattoo if it's in an okay spot to share.
Yes.
Just sort of preface that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks, friends.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying your Christmas names. I'm committed all month now.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So we heard from our friends over on Twitter. Now we're going to go over to a segment of the show where we hear from people that we don't know. It's called Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. These are reviews from letterbox.com. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating you can give a movie, and we go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating you can give a movie. I sent the half star over to Seth, since Seth reads them in lovely accents every week. I don't really have a request for you, though, unless you would like to sing it.
All right, I'll try reading this as Santa.
Don't go crazy. If you want to just read it as Sethy Britman, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Had to watch it in increments to stomach it. This is so bad. All right, I'm going to do shock.
Okay.
Hello, Jack. Had to watch it in increments to stomach it. I hated every detail of this film. I think back to it and get nauseous. If this movie were ever personified, I'd move to the moon. I wish this movie didn't exist, and I never watched it. Would rather pull out one of my adult teeth than watch it again.
This review sounds like someone who lives in Halloween Town.
This is insane. I hated every detail of this film. If this movie were ever personified, I'd move to the moon.
moon?
Sure. Okay.
Rather pull out one of their adult teeth than watch it again.
I would rather pull out one of my adult teeth than watch it again.
Do you think it's the camera movement that makes them nauseous?
I this is a person who hates Halloween and horror. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-star review. First Christmas movie of the season. I liked this a lot more than I was expecting to, but for me, since I didn't watch as a child, I think I missed out on something here. The
Hmm.
music is perfect, and stop motion was the perfect medium to tell such a creepy story.
Yeah.
Is this a creepy story?
I think people find stop motion animation kind of creepy. I think it's like the cilantro and soap taste thing that some people have. Like, there's just something about the shuddering movements that set people on edge.
Interesting. I'll have to ask my sister if that's how she feels, because she's not really a fan of stop motion. And when I was on the phone with her over the weekend, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch Nightmare Before Christmas. She goes, ew. I was like,
Yeah.
ew. And she goes, it's such a creepy movie. It's so
Okay.
scary. And I was like, when's the last time you watched it? It's
Yeah.
not scary. And it's
When's
quite
it?
beautiful. And I went on my soapbox about the artistry and how
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, our friend Harry Walton made this. Back off.
leave Harry alone. Okay, 5 stars. I didn't grow up loving this as much as my fiance. My Burton was Pee-wee, Beetlejuice, and Eddie.
Hmm.
But I always liked it. The songs are wonderful and memorable. The animation is fantastic and contains some grit, which I love, thanks to the amazing work by Henry Selick, who needs to be acknowledged more for this. And watching it with her for the first time in our relationship was such a pleasure. Sharing her joy and hearing her say the lines was a great way to get into the holiday spirit.
Oh,
Isn't that sweet?
yeah, that's great.
I love it. All right, Seth. It's all about the ham pies.
That's right.
So we rate a movie as a schmovie, movie, or film. We also give it a rating 1 through 5 stars. Give our final thoughts, recommendations. Do you want to go first? You can go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So for you, I wrote down a 4-star film.
Oh, so close. So what does that mean if you get it wrong?
I owe you a ham pie.
Okay. All right. Very close.
Well, unless you
right.
get it wrong, then it cancels out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very close. I'm going to say that this is a 4.5-star film.
Oh,
Darn near a 5-star film for me, to be honest with you. Again, kind of shedding all of the odd social baggage that I've had with this movie, and just watching it again, I was like, come on. As
Yeah.
the young people say, this rips. You know what I mean?
Wait. Earlier you said bumpin',
Yeah, I was bumping some tunes.
and now you just said
It rips.
how are you getting the inside?
I don't. Maybe it's weird because I'm on this side of the episode. Normally, I'm the one with all the details and stuff, you know. So now I'm just sitting back. It feels good. It's like being you.
Yeah, but I never come to the table with the
Bumping
happening lingo. So
Oh, I don't think rips is happening, man. I don't think anybody said that in probably 3 years. Anyway, this movie rips. It's still great. It can make you cry. It can make you laugh. I think it's wonderful. And I'm also going to put this in my top 5 Christmas movies. definitely, for sure. So yeah, 4.5-star film for me. For you, that's actually what I wrote down. 4.5-star film.
No, this is 5-star film.
Ooh, the hand pies have been canceled out again.
Wow. Yeah. No, this is a 5-star film.
Okay.
The production value alone.
Yeah.
Well, and the music.
Yeah.
Because I do agree what you and Skylar mentioned about the story.
Mhm.
And maybe like we need a little bit more. But I also think of it as just a short story. I think of it like a children's book, a picture book, if you will. And so with that in mind, I'm okay with everything.
Yeah.
But rewatching it this time around truly was a magical experience.
Yeah.
And really listening to the songs and like reading the lyrics
Yep.
and feeling the feels, I was like, oh,
Oh yeah.
I
And-
need to get some memorabilia.
And knowing that it's Catherine O'Hara.
And knowing that it's Catherine O'Hara.
Let me ask you this: why
Yeah.
is this never mentioned among her
I know.
her accolades? You know, when
I-
people say like, "Oh, Catherine O'Hara, Home Alone, and
Mhm.
Schitt's Creek," and it's like,
Mhm.
no,
Beetlejuice.
excuse me, yeah, or Beetlejuice. What are you kidding me? She should be Sally over Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I know. It shouldn't have taken this long to realize that it was Catherine O'Hara. Embarrassing.
Hey, if it shouldn't have taken you this long to realize, you should leave us a review and a rating wherever you're listening. Come on, folks. It's Christmas. Gosh darn it. What are you doing? You're sitting over there in your ivory tower, just not leaving us a review. It's shameful. You should be shameful. You should feel shame. And you know what? There's someone out there who's making a list and he's checking it twice. And it's me. Okay? I know everyone who has left us a review. And you haven't. So get on the get on the good list.
Would we call you Sethy Claus?
I guess so.
Okay.
We'd also love it if you send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Again, let us know what you're snacking on. You can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. And folks, hey, guess what? Patreon put out a new feature. If you listen to our show and you enjoy it and you want access to all 6 or 7 bonus shows that we have, my goodness, and you want to get in on a patron Discord and you want to be able to vote on upcoming movies, but you're like, I just don't want to pay for it. Well, good news. You can now gift a subscription to somebody else.
Or give it as an idea to your family. If they're like, hey, we need a stocking stuffer for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Subscription to Movie Friends.
Oh, Michelle, I told you to send me your Christmas list a month ago. Why? I'm going to get you something. Look, folks, they're going to get you something, okay?
Yep.
Do you want a 15th frying pan? You know what I mean? Do you need a 20th set of sleepwear that you're never going to use? They're going to get you something. You might as well say, make mine Movie Friends.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Boom.
Well, you're going to put the link to grab the gift
Of course I will.
in the show
Forget
notes because it's
to do
so
that.
easy. You literally just click this special link and you can check out and gift it right away.
It's so easy a caveman could do it.
That's right.
No one's ever said that before.
Nope.
All right, so
Yeah, next week, we're staying in the world of Disney.
yep.
We're going 1 year later to 1994.
What a difference a year makes.
Right? And we're going to be talking about the Santa Claus. Wow,
Oh, boy.
wow.
Oh boy. You know, we had a good run here
Oh, no.
for Friend December.
No.
No, not saying that I don't like the Santa Claus or anything.
But we've hit the hits.
Well, we had 3 movies that are like holiday adjacent. You know?
Yes, you're right. Now we're full in. There's no argument.
Right.
Like, this is a Christmas movie.
Right. So, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Is it a Thanksgiving movie? Yes. Die Hard. Is it a Christmas movie? And then Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it Halloween or is it Christmas? Like, nope. We are now 2 feet in the camp.
Yeah. The Santa Claus with Tim
This
Allen.
is Christmas. Yep.
Eric Lloyd.
Now this,
David Krumholtz.
I think I did see this in theaters.
I think I did too, and I saw the second one in theaters with Krista.
Oh,
It
okay.
was terrible, but
Yeah,
yeah.
not great. The third one, you get Martin Short.
And then of course the TV series comes that I watched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You are in it.
we could talk about that next week.
Sure. So, yeah, The Santa Claus, 1994, 97 minutes, and it's on Disney Plus. Well, hey, thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, patrons.
Yeah. I'm ecstatic that we finally did this on our show.
Me too. What are we getting? Are we getting T-shirts? Are we getting figurines?
I'm jumping straight to a tattoo.
Oh, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, if you're trying to think of what to give someone for Christmas, make sure it's not a roadkill armadillo. Thank you very much for listening. Till next time, have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Music by Anthony Pecora. If you like the show, please subscribe and give us a rating. It really helps us find new friends. Thanks!